Welcome to Nightfall, where mystery and tension converge to take you into a world beyond your imagination. We will take you into spine-chilling tales of urban legends, supernatural experiences, and haunted places that will make your skin crawl. Make sure you're ready to face the darkness. Keep your lights on, your doors locked. Let's dive straight into the story. In the heart of a bustling city stands an old building known as the Forbidden Hotel. Once a luxurious destination frequented by guests from all walks of life, the hotel met a tragic fate when a devastating fire engulfed it, killing a young woman named Sarah who worked as the receptionist. Witnesses reported seeing Sarah running through the hotel's corridors with a face full of terror, desperately seeking help that never came. After the fire, the hotel was closed and abandoned. Urban legend grew that Sarah's restless spirit could not find peace and had become a Pocong, an apparition haunting the hotel in search of aid. This Pocong is known for its terrifying appearance, a body wrapped in a shroud with binding cords, moving in a jerky, hopping manner, and emitting a mournful wail. Rina, a well-known horror vlogger, is famous for her bravery in exploring haunted places for her YouTube content. The story of the Forbidden Hotel and the frightening Pocong intrigued her. Besides the potential for high viewership, she also wanted to prove her own courage. She felt a connection to Sarah's story after learning that Sarah had desperately tried to save others, mirroring Rina's commitment to uncovering the truth. Before visiting the hotel, Rina conducted thorough research into the hotel's history and the mysterious events that had occurred there. She found old news articles about the fire that destroyed much of the hotel and claimed Sarah's life. Sarah was reported to have tried to save the hotel's guests, but was unsuccessful. Various online forums also reported strange experiences in the hotel, including mysterious sounds and sightings of the Pocong in certain rooms. Rina prepared advanced equipment, low-light cameras, audio recorders, and motion sensors to capture anything that might happen. She also brought candles and a temperature gauge to detect unusual temperature changes. Despite local warnings about the dangers of the Pocong, Rina proceeded with her plans, driven by curiosity and a need to prove her bravery. As night fell, Rina arrived at the Forbidden Hotel, and the atmosphere grew increasingly grim. Heavy rain began to fall, adding to the darkness and chill surrounding the hotel. The old building stood amidst a dense forest, surrounded by trees swaying in the night wind. The hotel appeared dilapidated, with peeling paint and broken windows. Streetlights flickered and went out, enhancing the eerie impression. When Rina entered the hotel, she was greeted by the smell of sweat and dust, and strange sounds that resembled soft whispers coming from empty corridors. The high ceilings and dark rooms made the hotel feel like an endless maze. Rina turned on her spotlight, revealing the hotel's severely neglected condition: worn-out carpets with holes, broken furniture, and walls covered with graffiti and signs of decay. The atmosphere grew more unsettling as she heard whispers that seemed to come from within the walls, as if something was trying to communicate with her. As the clock struck midnight, the atmosphere inside the hotel became even more tense. The loud sound of the rain outside seemed to exacerbate the pressure in every corner of the hotel. Rina began to feel a deep unease. Sudden cold drafts swept through the empty hallways, even though the windows were tightly shut. Occasionally, she felt as though something was watching her every move. Rina continued moving from room to room, searching for interesting spots to film. In one room, she discovered several items that seemed to have been left in haste. A pair of shoes in the middle of the floor, a letter lying on the ground, and a wall clock stopped at 12 o'clock. Rina sensed that something was wrong, and the atmosphere in the hotel grew increasingly frightening. As she explored, her spotlight began to flicker and die, leaving only the dim light of the flashlight she held. She heard the soft sound of footsteps, as if something or someone was walking on the old wooden floor. The sound seemed to follow her every step, making her feel as though something was lurking in the dark corners of the hotel. The feeling of dread and uncertainty intensified when she found windows that suddenly opened by themselves, and the sound of footsteps grew louder and closer. Rina entered the most dilapidated and neglected room. In the corner of the room, she found a white shroud lying on the floor. The shroud appeared new and clean, contrasting sharply with the dirt and dust around it. Rina felt something was wrong and began to feel scared, but she pressed on with her investigation. As she approached the shroud, her spotlight suddenly went out, leaving her in darkness. In her panic, she heard a clear and increasingly close wailing sound. It seemed like Sarah's voice calling for help. When her spotlight turned back on, she saw the figure of the Pocong standing at the door of the room, with a pale, vacant face, wrapped in a dirty and torn shroud. The Pocong floated in the air, moving with unnatural hopping motions. The moment made Rina feel as if she were on the brink between the real world and the supernatural. The Pocong began moving towards Rina in a terrifying manner. The wailing and moaning sounds grew louder, causing Rina to feel paralyzed with fear, her heart racing. The spotlight began to flicker and die again, leaving Rina in total darkness. The sound of footsteps grew nearer, as if the Pocong was tracking her every move. Rina tried to run out of the room, but the door slammed shut behind her. A chilling sensation crept down her spine, and she felt trapped in an inescapable nightmare. As she tried to open the door, the Pocong suddenly appeared in front of her, with vacant eyes and a face full of sorrow. The Pocong's wailing grew louder, making Rina feel trapped in an endless nightmare. Rina started to feel as though the entire hotel was shaking and creaking around her. Windows shattered on their own and furniture shifted without reason, increasing her sense of instability and uncertainty. In a state of panic, Rina found that she couldn't find an exit. Every door she tried to open either closed again or led to the same room, as if the hotel itself was shifting to trap her. Desperate, Rina eventually managed to escape the room and fled from the hotel in a panic. She reported her experience to the authorities and sought help. When the authorities inspected the hotel, they found no trace of the Pocong or evidence to explain the events. However, they did find fresh blood leading to the bathroom, reinforcing the story of the hotel's tragic past. Rina later learned that Sarah had been known for her intense efforts to save the hotel's guests. Her tragic story had become a haunting legend, and the hotel was still considered a place to avoid. Rina felt deeply traumatized by her experience, but also felt a connection to Sarah's story. The experience left her with a sense that something unresolved remained. After the incident, Rina and her team decided to perform a cleansing ceremony at the hotel. They cleaned the area and conducted prayers to help Sarah's spirit find peace. The Forbidden Hotel is now known for its mysterious tale, and even though it has reopened as a tourist attraction, visitors still sense something mysterious within its walls. Some visitors report feeling watched by unseen eyes and hearing strange whispers, as if Sarah is still searching for answers to the tragedy of that fateful night.